Hi and welcome to another morning chores video. My name is Nicole and today we're giving you an end of summer garden tour and we're also going to share some fun facts along the way. Summer is quickly coming to an end and we're heading into fall, and I thought it was a good time to give you guys one last garden tour before we start tearing everything down and cleaning things up. I'll be quite honest, it's not my favorite time of the season because the garden is overgrown, there's a lot of things dying off, and it's just not very pretty. But I thought it was important to at least show you guys what it looks like so that you have something to compare to with your gardens back at home. During our tour, we're also going to share some fun facts about some of the produce that we chose to grow this year in the garden. So let's head to the garden and see what's happening. The first fun fact I'd like to share in the garden today is about the tomatoes. Now, if you noticed in the footage, a lot of my tomato plants are on their way out. They're dying, but they're still loaded with tomatoes. And a lot of those tomatoes were still green when the plant started dying. I always leave the tomatoes on the plant. I don't rip the plant out because those tomatoes will still turn red. And it's always better if the tomato can ripen on the vine rather than picking them green and then having them turn red on the counter or on the back patio. They always just taste a little bit better. So if your tomato plants start dying off but you still have green tomatoes, try to keep them in the ground as long as possible so those green tomatoes can turn juicy red. This is a new variety of basil that I tried called cinnamon basil, and its name is exactly what it tastes like. It has cinnamon undertones with that classic basil taste, but I really enjoyed growing this year, and the bees and the butterflies absolutely loved it. Next fun tip we're sharing with you today is an easier way to thin out your strawberries. As you can see, I've got quite a mess here with my strawberries, but I'm going to share with you an easy way to thin them out so you're not having to bend over and do that back-breaking hard work. Here we advocate for the back-to-eating garden method, so this fall what I do is I cover the entire garden, including my strawberries, in wood chips. I cover them so you can't even see any of the strawberries, and then in the springtime, the only strawberries that come through are the strong ones. This is a really easy way to thin out your strawberries without having to bend over, get down on the ground, and pull and keep the ones that you want to keep. It's all about working smarter, not harder. Our cucumbers this year did really well, and we had several volunteers come up in the garden, and then I also planted some. The ones that came up were actually quite bitter and we didn't really enjoy them, and as you can see, this one got away from me. When they become that big, they're just not as tasty. But the variety I planted was absolutely delicious, so it may take some trial and error to find what variety you like best. Did you know that asparagus has female and male plants? Do you know how to tell which ones are female and which ones are male? The female ones are the ones that produce the red berries. You cannot eat these berries, so don't even try, but they do really make a beautiful fern plant at the end of the summer heading into fall. It just has that little splash of color while everything else is dying off. This was a new variety of berries I decided to try called Schwarzenbeeren berries. They derive from Germany, and they were quite delicious and unique. They tasted like a blueberry, yet they have the coloring of a blackberry. Next fun fact is medicinal value of elderberries. Last year I planted 2 elderberry plants and I got berries off of them for the first time this year. I like to make elderberry syrup from my berries because it's great to fight off cold and flu. Elderberries are high in vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and potassium, making them a great immune booster. Not sure what to do with those sunflowers when they start dying off? Well, the first thing you can do is if you used heirloom seeds, you can dry this and save the seeds to plant next year. So I have 2 drying inside right now that I'm hoping to harvest the seeds from so that I have sunflowers next year. And as you can see, there's probably hundreds of seeds in just one sunflower. So by drying just one of these, you'll have sunflowers for a very, very long time. But another use for these dead sunflower heads is chickens love them. I always end up planting only one zucchini plant because my one plant always produces so well for us. We're still getting a few zucchinis, but otherwise it's mostly done for. And usually at the end of the season, the leaves will get this white film on them, and that's just one more sign that the season is coming to an end. And then of course we have one lonely cantaloupe left waiting for harvest. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can also head over to morningchores.com where you'll find all kinds of information on homesteading, gardening, DIY, and much, much more. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.